Hello students, hope all are doing great. We will discuss here the last exercise of the chapter sets, that is miscellaneous exercise. And till now I hope all the concepts of the chapter sets are clear. We learn different types of sets, then we learn different types of operations that we can perform on sets like union, intersection and difference of the sets, and afterwards we discussed we learned few practical problems, how to solve the practical problems based upon sets. Now we have few sums. These are based upon all the topics that we have done. So we will discuss few sums of this exercise so that you people can complete it, right? The first sum is simple, you people can do. We will discuss here sum number 2, few parts. It is given in each of the following. Determine whether the statement is true or false. If it is true, prove it, and if it is false, give an example. So what we will do here, in order to check whether the statement is true or false, we will try to take the things, how the things are given. The statement says if X belongs to A and A belongs to another set B, then X belongs to B. Now what does it mean? Small x, that means it is an element. Capital A, it's a set. Capital B, it's a set. And we have to show if there is an element which belongs to A, one set, and this set belonging to another set. How two sets belong to each other? First thing, if this set is an element of another set, then I can say A is belonging to the set B, and we have to show X belongs to B. This is not possible. It is a false statement. How it is false? Let us assume the example. Let us write down set A as A comma B, right? And let us write down now A comma B we have taken. The question says if X belongs to A. Now here we can say this small a belongs to the set A. Now we have to take A belongs to B. That means this whole set A should act as an element of this set B. And let us take the set B as it will be having C, D and A, B, this set as an element. Do you remember we have done one sum like this in the concept of subsets? I think it was the second exercise or the third exercise of the chapter, where the subsets topic was there and one particular sum was there where one element was given like this. It was 1 comma 3 or 3 comma 4. Now here A is a set where this small element A belongs to the set and B is another set, but this B set is having the element A comma B, and it means also, which implies A, it belongs to B. I hope it is clear. Here A is a set, but in set B A is acting as an element also. That means this A is an element of B, so A belongs to B. But the statement says then X belongs to B. But do we have this A separate in the set B? But A, it does not belong to B. So here the example we have given, the statement is false, right? It is very clear if X is an element of A and that set is acting as another element of another set B, then this X alone cannot come as the element of this second set B. So the statement is false, and this is how we will give the example to justify our answer that why the statement is false, right? Let us do one more part so that you people can understand it how we are doing, and then you can complete that. Second part is given if A is a subset of B and B belongs to C, then A belongs to C. Once again the same kind of one set, two set and three sets are given here. The first set is the subset of B. That means the elements which are present here, all the elements are present in B also. But this second set is acting as an element of this set C. Then how come this will come as an element? Once again we will say it is false only. Remember students, if you're not getting in the beginning that is it true or false, you just take any example and check is it coming true for any arbitrary example, and if you can find a single example to prove it is false, that means the statement will be false only. Okay, so let us consider few sets. Let us take set A, it is having one element. The set B, let it be having 1, 2 and 3 elements. Now clearly A, it is a subset of B. Yes, all the elements of A are present in B, so A is a subset of B. And now take set C, and set C is having this element 1, 2, 3, this B set as an element as we have taken here, and there are few elements 4, 5 and 6 also, which implies B is an element of set C. B belongs to C, right? The whole set B is acting as an element of this set C. That means B is an element. But what is in the beginning? That A is a subset of B, and we have to check does A belong to C or not. But A, it does not belong to C, as this element is not present in C. This singleton set 1 is not at all an element of C. So once again the statement is false. Likewise, you people can complete the remaining 4 parts of this sum also. If anybody has any doubt, you can ask. Don't copy the solution from any other help book. Try to do the sums on your own, right? Sum number 3 is now ABC 3 sets are given such that these are proving sums, and you have to understand it how it is done, and you will be able to do only if you are thorough with the concepts, right? So sum number 3 is given. Let us write down first of all what is given to us. Given part is ABC 3 sets such that ABC are 3 sets such that S dot T means such that A union B is equal to A union C, and A intersection B is given equals to A intersection C. What we have to prove? We have to prove that, we have to show that B is equal to C. Remember, we will prove it. We will not give any example to show yet yes it is true. We have to prove the result. So in order to prove the result, what I will do here, we will take any element in the set B, and I will show if I able to show that B is a subset of C and C is a subset of B, then what will happen? If B is a subset of C, C is a subset of B, that means B set is contained in C and C set is contained in B. It means both the sets are equal, right? So this is what we will do here. We will first prove B is a subset of C, and then we'll prove C is a subset of B. Ultimately, we will do this thing. So in order to do that, we will take any element, let X belong to B. Now if X is belonging to B, now we have A union B. If X belongs to B, definitely this X will be present in A union B also, right? That is, X will belong to A union B. If you remember, if I show you the Venn diagram here, U, universal set, if this is set A and this is set B, there is some element X I have taken. If X is present in B, then X will be present in the A union B complete also. So X belongs to A union B. Further, it is given A union B is equal to X. So I will say it implies X belongs to A union C. Why? We will mention here, because A union B is equal to A union C. It is given to us. So the given part we are using here. If X belongs to A union C, we said X belongs to A union B implies X belongs to A union C, right? That is, either X belongs to A or X belongs to C, because in the union, what does it mean? Whatever element we are taking in the union, either it will belong to A or it will belong to C, right? So in one of the two sets it will be present. So if I take the first case that x belongs to A, if I take case 1 that x belongs to A, now what is happening? In the beginning we said x belongs to B. Now as x belongs to B, we have taken or we assumed, and x belongs to A also. If x is belonging to both the sets, what does it mean? X will belong to the intersection, right? It means x will belong to the intersection. If x belongs to A intersection B, and we know A intersection B is given equal to A intersection C, so which further implies that x will belong to A intersection C, because A intersection B is given equal to A intersection C. Once again this thing is given to us. If x belongs to A intersection C, that is x belongs to A and x belongs to C. In the beginning already we have assumed x belongs to A. That means x belongs to A is there for sure, but x belongs to C we have concluded. So if x belongs to B in the beginning we took, and we have reached that x belongs to C. So the element which is present in B, we have proved that the element is present in C also. Even here, when the case 1 we took x belongs to A, case 2 is x belongs to C also. So this thing we will mark that x belongs to C. This thing let us mark it as 1, and here we will mark it as x belongs to C as 2, and we will say also case 2 also. What is the case 2 implementing? That x belongs to C. We will mark it as 3, right? Therefore, from 1, 2 and 3, what we are getting? That x belongs to B implies x belongs to C. In the case 1 also we proved that x belongs to C, and in case 2 already it is given x belongs to C. So we started that x belongs to set B, and we have proved that x belongs to C, and from this what does it mean? It means, or that is, B is a subset of C. If any element which is present in B, we prove it is present in some other set also, so the first set will be then subset of the second. So B is a subset of C. This thing we have proved. We can mark it as equation number 4, right? And now similarly, if I take let y belongs to C, now what we will do? In the beginning we proved B is a subset of C, and now if I prove C is a subset of B, similarly we will take let y belongs to C. If y belongs to C, that is y will belong to A intersection A union C, and if y belongs to A union C means y will belongs to A union B. Why? Because A union C is given equals to A union B. The same steps are there. Wherever B we took, we are taking now C, and here it was x belonging to A union B implies x belongs to A union C, and since we started with C, so we said y belongs to A union C implies y will belong to A union B also, right? And if y belongs to A union B, that is either y belongs to A or y belongs to B. Once again we can discuss here the cases. So this y belongs to C, we can mark it as 5. So case 1, what will be? When y belongs to A. Y belongs to A, y belongs to C also, and also we will write down from 5th y belongs to C, which implies if y belongs to A, y belongs to C, both the sets, so y will belong to A intersection C. And if y belongs to A intersection C, that means y will belong to A intersection B also. Why? Because A intersection C is already given equal to A intersection B. If y belongs to A intersection B, it implies y belongs to A and y belongs to B. A already we assumed, it means we have achieved that y belongs to B. So y belongs to B, here we will mark it as equation number 6. Also from case 2, what we have assumed, that y belongs to B. Y belongs to B. Let us mark it as equation number 7. Now, equation number 5, we said y belongs to C, and we have reached the point that y belongs to B. So we can say from 5, 6 and 7, what we have assumed, that C is a subset of B. So let it be equation number then 8. It means from equation 4 we said B subset C. In equation number 8 we said C is a subset of B. So from 4th and 8th we can say B is equal to C, right? So this will be the proof of sum number 3. I am repeating, in order to prove B equals to C, first we assumed any point X belonging to B, and if it belongs to B, that means it will belong to A union B. If it belongs to A union B, it means it will belong to A union C also, because they are equal. And if X belongs to A union C, that means either X belongs to A or X belongs to C. Here we have discussed two cases. Case 1, if X belongs to A. Now X belongs to A, X belongs to B. That means it is belonging to both the sets, so it will belong to its intersection. And A intersection B is equal to A intersection C, so X will belong to A intersection C also. From where we concluded that X belongs to C. Similarly, case 2, when we said, right, there also we proved that X belongs to C. So when I combine their result, we started that X belongs to B and we proved X belongs to C. So if this one element is present in B and the same element is present in the second set, so the first set will become the subset of the second. And the same steps we have done for the second case when we proved that C is a subset of B. And there we took another element Y belonging to C. In this way, we proved that B is equal to C. You have to do the proof only. You cannot justify the result or verify the result with the examples. So if any step is not clear, you can ask from me if any doubt is there. This was sum number 3. Sum number 4 is show that the following 4 conditions are equivalent. Right? What does it mean? When the 4 conditions are equivalent, it means if I start with first equation, first implies second, second implies third, third implies fourth, and fourth implies first. So the result is very, very simple. We have to prove that. So let us write down all the 4 statements here. A is given. First is A is a subset of B. Second statement says A minus B is equal to null set. So subset concept is there. Difference of 2 sets is there. The third statement says that A union B is equal to B. So union of sets is also there. And the fourth statement is A intersection B is equal to A. So the intersection also there. So there are basically 4 different concepts in 2 sets only. The number of sets is 2 only, A and B, but 4 different concepts are there, and we will prove that if I assume the first set, we will show first result is implementing the second, then we will show second is giving the third result, and third is giving the fourth result. All these 4 are connected to each other. So let us do 1 implies 2. So here it is given A is a subset of B, that is all elements of A are present in B. Either you write down this way or simple, A is a subset of B, that is all X belong to A implies X belong to B. Every element X of A is also an element of B. If every element X of A is an element of B, then what will be A minus B? A minus B will be equals to phi only, because every element of A is present in B. Either you write down this thing, or if I say A subset B is given to us, let me tell you the other way also. If the given thing is A is a subset of B, and I have to prove that A minus B is equal to phi, we will assume, let us assume that A minus B is not equal to phi. If A minus B is not equal to phi, it means A is having some elements which are not in B, right? Either if you write down this way, or if you write in mathematical form, that is, there exists some x belonging to A such that x does not belong to B, right? But it contradicts the given statement. What is the given statement? That A is a subset of B. That means every element of A is present in B. But what we are getting, if A minus B is not equal to phi, let us assume that A minus B is not equal to phi, that means there are some elements present in A which are not present in B. But if there are some elements in A, then A cannot be subset of B. So it is contradiction to the given result. So our supposition will be wrong. So our supposition is wrong. Therefore, A subset B will imply A minus B is equal to phi. It has to be true, right? This is the first. Either you write down the first method that I have done, or you do by this thing. Any one thing you have to do. You don't write down both the results. Both are true and but are different, right? And now we will take second implies third. That is, what is given here? Given is A minus B equals to phi, and we have to prove that A union B is equal to B, right? As A minus B is equal to phi, that is, every x belonging to A implies x belongs to B also. Every element of A is also an element of B. This is what it means. What does it mean? It means B set is having all the elements of A, right? That is, when I take the union of A and B, the union will always have the bigger set. If A minus B is phi, so every element of A is an element of B. That means whatever A is having, B is also having. There is a possibility B can have more elements also. So B set is the set which is having all the elements of A. If B is having all the elements of A, it means B is bigger than A. So A union B, when I take the union of one set and some other bigger set, it will be B. Small example, if I take the union of class 11 of SGS with the union with the SGS, the union will be SGS, always the bigger set, right? So this is second implies third. Similarly, you people can do third implies fourth, and then you people have to prove 4 implies first. I hope you can do that. If anybody has any doubt, you can ask, but try to do them. Okay, sum number 5 is also simple. If show that if A is a subset of B, then C minus B is a subset of C minus A. Let us do that. sum number 5, show that if A is a subset of B, then C minus B is a subset of C minus A. Since we have to prove that C minus B is a subset of C minus A, so let us take an element X belonging to C minus B, right? And if I prove this X is present in C minus A also, then the sum is done. C minus B is a subset of C minus A. Okay, so it implies X is present in C, but X does not belong to B, because X will belong to C minus B only if X is present in C but not in B. I hope the definition of difference of two sets is clear, right? A minus B will have all the elements of A which are not present in B. So C minus B will have all the elements of C which are not present in B. So the definition of difference of sets is only applied. So X belongs to C and X doesn't belong to B, right? That is, X belongs to C and X will not belong to A also. Why? Because A is a subset of B. If X is not present in B, then X cannot be present in A also. So here we will write down because A is a subset of B. This thing is given to us. Now here we have said X belongs to C and X doesn't belong to A, which implies X belongs to C minus A. In the first equation we said X belongs to C. In the second we reached that X belongs to C minus A. So we can end that from one end to what we concluded, that C minus B is a subset of C minus A, right? So this is the result, or this is the proof of sum number 5, and I hope you can do now. So first 5 sums of the exercise you people have to complete. This is sum number 4. Again I am showing it. I hope the steps are clear, and the same way you people have to do the remaining 2 parts, 3 to 4 and then 4 to 1. Okay class, thank you.